Welcome back to Law Talk Moments, a legal program designed to help make the complex simple and to promote the practice of law, which I unapologetically consider to be a noble profession. My name's attorney Rob Caprera, and I'm humbled to be your host again for this program. Today, I'm continuing on in my three-part series on how to help families navigate through the challenges which they'll confront in the initial weeks and months after the death of a loved one. Last week, we explained that an inheritance is not a right, it's a privilege. Today we are going to take a closer look at the need and nature of grieving right after the death as part of this series. People all need to grieve after a death. It's natural. It's necessary. It's respectful to the family and friends of a decedent to give them a time and place and way to show their grief. The desire to get it all over with by having little or no gatherings or ceremonies or recognitions of the death might serve your interests to curl up in a ball and hide and deny the reality of the death, but it is not ultimately kind to your family and friends. Recognize that people need to grieve after a death, but we all don't do it the same way. Yes, it's an obvious truth that we're all different. But I can tell you based upon experience that when a death is involved, people really show their differences in how they will grieve. Some shut down. Some become openly emotional. Some reach out in love to embrace the dearest qualities of the decedent and the close family members. Some snap out in anger and impatience at the slightest provocations. Some look out for others. Others become horribly selfish. Some dwell in the comfort of fond memories. Others wallow in the toxic influence of bad memories rehashed. The point is that we humans all grieve differently. We do it with different intensities, and we do it on different schedules. So what is the solution? Give extra grace and space to everyone after a death, and keep doing it for many months after a death. Grieving isn't one-stop shopping. It goes on in varying degrees for the rest of your life. We have to recognize this fact, and I really try to emphasize it to the families that I serve after a death. It helps us all get through the process better. You know, I always keep a tissue box next to my chair so that I can have it immediately available for a crying client. This is something that we are not taught in law school, but lawyers continually are meeting and serving their clients at enormously stressful times in their lives. My tissue box is used surprisingly often in my office. And for a grieving loved one, it may be needed many months and even years after the death. The bottom line is this: all of us need to grieve after a death, and we all do it differently. Accordingly, we all need to give each other extra space and grace because of the process of grieving makes us act out of sorts and out of character very often. This completes part 2 of this series. Next week, we'll bring this series to an end with a consideration of the monumental challenge of trying to solve the decedent's problems in the probate process, which the decedent couldn't solve in his or her own lifetime. This is a biggie. So I hope you'll join me next week on Law Talk Moments, where we'll do our best to make this complex matter simple for you. To be notified when our next video is released, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you'd like your legal questions considered for future presentations, please submit them to www.capreralaw.com. As always, thank you for listening and take care.